welcome to The Diplomat. Do you know the song playing in the background? It's the heart of the Baltic Sea, Latvian traditional music, sung by 40,000 people. They truly love singing and dancing, and thousands of people gather at the Song and Dance Festival to celebrate their cultural heritage every 5 years. Therefore, today on The Diplomat, we are going to meet Latvia's ambassador to South Korea, Peteris Vaivars, to learn more about their cultural heritage and also the country's relations with South Korea. Ambassador, thank you very much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you very much. The pleasure is all mine.
So you are actually the first Latvian resident ambassador to South Korea. And you started your tenure a couple years ago, but I heard that your ties with South Korea began a long time ago, like a decade ago. Could you tell us about that?
Well, actually, my story is a little bit interesting because I'm second time first ambassador to Korea.
Oh, okay.
My previous posting was in Japan, in Tokyo, from 2006 to 2013. Okay. And at that time, we didn't have any embassy here in Seoul, and the embassy in Tokyo was in charge for Korea. So when I became an ambassador to Japan in 2006 and in 2007, I came over to Seoul and I presented my credentials to President No at that time. And then I continued to work with Korea. Of course, much less extent that directly when being here, because my main focus was on Japan. But then since 2016, when my government decided to open an embassy here, I came again to Korea, first-time ambassador, but now residing.
All right. You just mentioned the Latvian embassy in South Korea is the newest embassy, and I heard that South Korea and Latvia established their diplomatic ties in 1991. Is there any reason that it takes so long?
I have to admit that there are things which are quite common in our history, but they happened in different periods of time. And that led to the fact that our relations between Latvia and Korea are basically very new, less than 30 years. We have a very nice banner here, and I have a badge here, which says Latvia 100. We are celebrating 100th anniversary this year, and Latvia was established in November 1918. Unfortunately, we are located where we are located. and we have big neighbor who is not necessarily always very friendly. So it led to unfamous Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact, which was pact between two totalitarian regimes, Nazi Germany and Stalin's Soviet Union, to divide the Europe before Second World War started. And we were unlucky to fall in an interest of Soviet Union, which led to occupation of 3 Baltic states in 1940. So in 1940 we were occupied. During that period, Korea was occupied by Japan and didn't exist as independent state. When Second World War ended, we remained under Soviet occupation until 1991. Instead, Korea, after the end of Korean War, experienced rapid growth and development. So basically, when we met, it was 1991. So at that time, we established diplomatic relations. But of course, at that time, Latvia was quite poor and a country with non-existing market economy, with non-existing government institutions, because everything was controlled by Moscow and introduced by Moscow and regulated by Moscow. So we had again to build our country from the scratch. I think we succeeded quite a lot, and just within 13 years we joined the European Union, we joined NATO. 3 years ago we were a president country of the European Union. Amazing. 2 years ago we joined OECD. So, and of course all these developments also are kind of important ground for building relations between countries. So of course if we are developing, not anymore third world country, interest from Korean side is much bigger towards us. And for us as well, we are discovering more and more necessity to trade with more countries, so to deal with such things that facilitate increase of our GDP much faster, generates much bigger added value.
I see. During the last few years, Korea Peninsula has been actually, how should I say, very dynamic / turbulent, like Candlelight Revolution or the third Moon Kim Summit what just happened. What kind of impression did these dynamic changes leave on you?
There are a lot of places where dynamic changes takes place. And not so long ago, my country, Latvia, was one which went through that actually in late 80s, early 90s, when Soviet Union collapsed. And at first we were standing hand in hand, so-called famous Baltic Way, when people were hand in hand from capital of Estonia, Tallinn, all the way through Latvia to Lithuania, showing their unity against Soviet occupation. And now, of course, being here, especially Candlelight Revolution, reminded me very much this period that we experienced 30 years ago in my country. At first, of course, feelings, especially last year when tensions were very high, feelings were not so positive. And since President Moon Jae-in became here a president, situation has changed, well, drastically, I would say, to positive directions, very positively. And what I liked very much, there is kind of continuation on sports line. So first it was very successful attempt to bring people together during Pyeongchang Olympic Games, Winter Olympic Games. And now, of course, idea to bid for Summer Olympics, joint bid sometime in the near future is kind of very interesting idea, I would say, and I think very positive idea.
Talking about Latvia, we just can't forget about the Song and Dance Festival. Can you explain your country's
Oh yeah, I think that this is very interesting event, and which is also registered as UNESCO World Heritage, Intangible Heritage. It was the main festivity this summer in Latvia to celebrate our 100th anniversary. Actually, it was this song and dance festival, and we had around 20,000 singers singing together. 20,000 singers singing on a big open-air stage. And actually, Latvian singers were competing to get among these 20,000. So it was not all that we can gather. It was, no, you have to compete to be among these 20,000 and to compete very, very tightly. This main concert lasted 11 hours. Can you imagine? 11 hours long concert. And there were two parts of concert. First part was when the singers, 20,000 singers, were performing music, what they learned, Latvian songs, 4 hours long. And after that, the border or line between spectators and singers was removed, and then spectators, which are another 40 or 50,000, joined singers, and they had another 11 hours long joint concert, singing together, those who couldn't be on stage and those who were on stage, enjoying all night through. So it started at around 7 o'clock in the evening, and it ended at around 7 o'clock in the morning. So probably the longest and the biggest concert in the world ever held, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And this is a part of Latvian traditional hanbok, Latvian traditional costume. In Latvia, we have the same tradition as in Korea about traditional costumes, and they are different from different regions and different towns and cities. They have different hanboks, and we indeed like it very much. And it's kind of unwritten rule that for this festival, spectators and dancers are wearing hanboks. So most of people were for 10 days long. This whole festival is 10 days long, so 2 weekends and everything in between. Were wearing traditional costumes, so full Riga was in people in very nice dresses, dressed. And
as you just mentioned, music and dance, those really enrich people's lives, and I feel like your events, I mean the festival, holds a very, very special place in Latvian people's heart. Now the embassy recently organized a special concert to bring Korea and Latvia even closer. So let's take a look at that moment.
Last month, the Embassy of Latvia in Seoul hosted a very special event. Latvians were able to endure their history of foreign rule, in part through music, preserving their indigenous spirit, culture, and language, until they finally gained independence in 1918. To celebrate the nation's centenary, the embassy organized a wide range of commemorative events, including a classical concert featuring Korean, Latvian, and American artists.
And this is a special music event where we invited our friends, and it's a very international one because as performers we will have Latvian, American, and Korean, and they will perform Latvian songs and international songs and Korean pieces. So this is kind of really fusion of arts that we are very happy to host in our embassy tonight.
Korean performers are rehearsing for the concert. What are they going to play?
다비도프라는 라트비아 작곡가의 분수라는 곡이랑 멜랑콜리 왈츠라는 곡이 라트비아에서 되게 유명한 곡인데요. 그걸 트리오로 준비했고 백만송이 장미도 우리나라에서 심수봉이라는 분이 노래 불러주셨었는데 그게 원래 라트비아 민요여서 그것도 트리오로 준비를 했습니다.
The concert was attended by the ambassadors of Azerbaijan, Spain, and 3 other countries, as well as some 50 Korean scholars. It began with a welcoming speech by Ambassador Vaivars.
today it's very happy occasion when we have fusion of different artists of different styles, of different musics here at the embassy for our second salon concert. So thank you once again for being with us tonight. Kamsahamnida, thank you very much.
Celebrating the grand occasion, the Korean cellist, violist, and pianist presented their renditions of Latvian folk songs. It was a touching moment of unity and harmony. Then Latvian folk songs were performed by Latvian and American artists. Taking turns, the artists performed a total of 11 songs, honoring Latvia's journey to independence and wishing for abundance and prosperity for centuries to come.
We had a really great time performing for the concert. It was wonderful music. Being the 100th anniversary of Latvia's independence, it was a really special time for doing a concert like this, and we just had a great time singing for all of the audience members and singing some really wonderful music.
For Latvia, music is a very important culture. Of course, we have painters and other artists, but the music, especially vocal music, are very important for us. And we could see music today in front of Korean friends, so this was a great occasion. For example, this last song, Million Roses, which is actually originally from Latvian song, and this is kind of great connection between Koreans and Latvians through music.
Korea and Latvia share many similarities in their histories. They both fought for national independence and successfully developed democratic and prosperous nations. Based on their shared experiences, the two countries will continue their exchanges and cooperation in the pursuit of meaningful change.
So the Latvian Embassy has been organizing a number of music events since its establishment in 2015. Why music?
Well, at first we are very confident that we can offer a lot in music. And I was already telling about Song and Dance Festival. This is mostly about folk music and traditional music. But in the same time, there are a lot of Latvian musicians around the world who are just superstars. I'm not afraid of this word. Just mentioning few, and they are very frequent visitors to Seoul, to best concert halls in Seoul, like Misha Maisky, cello player. Gidon Kremer is violin player. Among top world conductors, there are two Latvian names, Maris Jansons, who will be in Seoul next month with Bavaria Radio Orchestra. He's conductor of this orchestra. And these are just few names. List go on. And these are just few which are related to art. So I think that this is indeed very good way for us to increase our visibility around the world, with kind help and assistance of these Latvian famous artists, musicians, so on.
Then what kind of exchanges have been made, medium music, between South Korea and Latvia?
I think that this year we have started to add much more business to our relations. At least we are, this embassy here, we are trying to focus already. We have maybe kind of feelings that, okay, we tried to promote a lot who we are, where we are, what are we doing. So now it's time to start to talk business. And there were several big events this year, starting with our president's visit to Korea this February, of course, to attend the opening ceremony and also to cheer for Latvian athletes in Pyeongchang, but also he took with him quite a big business delegation So Latvian business delegation and Minister of Economy were here, and we had business forum and business-to-business meetings. So we continued it in collaboration with KOIMA, Korean Importers Association, to make a group of Korean business to visit Latvia soon after President's visit. Then recently, we again in cooperation with KOIMA, we organized second Korean business visit to Latvia already this year, particularly targeting food industry. So I'm very confident that we have a lot of products which can be very interesting for Korea. Our problem is that we are not a producer of a lot of something, but we have a lot of things which are kind of niche product, but definitely there is category of people who would love to have such products, especially it concerns dairy products, different products which are made from milk or sour milk and cream, and it concerns also bakery products. I think that we can indeed bring a lot of very interesting things to Korea, which are not known. So at first we have to introduce them to Korean consumers, and after that I would like to see them appear on shelves here. As I mentioned, we are very much interested to utilize also our ability and knowledge in information technologies. Very often when some comparison is done, who has the best internet, fastest internet, and Korea, Singapore, Latvia, Estonia, so appears on top lines. This is why we are trying to do much more now in information technologies, be pioneers also in Europe what concerns 5G technologies, Internet of Things, cloud computing, and kind of vision of current government is to make Latvia a data-driven society, so focus very much on this.
Last but not least, what are your plans to improve our ties between South Korea and Latvia?
It's a very good question, and of course plans are always very big. Another thing is how capable we are to implement these plans. But what I would like to reach indeed is to attract more attention from Korean major top elite towards Latvia. I know that people are very busy and they have very big problems, and not all countries are so visible. But I think that indeed I'd love to put Latvia, name of Latvia, and country of Latvia also in minds of top politicians, that when they think about Europe, when they think about conflicts, when they think about problems, they go away only from region, but also think that there are other parts where there are threats, when there are countries who sometimes do not behave as they should behave, and this is not only, it doesn't concern only North Korea. So I think this is very important to really become very close friends and very good friends. So I would say this is a very important task for me.
I see. Ambassador, thank you for your insights sharing with us today.
My pleasure indeed. Very happy about this interview. Yeah, so there is a beautiful view from here to enjoy Hanam-dong and some landmarks like Grand Hyatt. We are just small distance, and Namsan Mountain is just behind us. So from my experience as a diplomat, more than 26 years, maybe the most appropriate description might be that diplomats are builders. We are building bridges, and not as physical as construction, but it's very much about whole process, starting from investigating where to bridge, where to build, how to build, then planning, and then completing, and it is very, very attractive profession in general. So I'm happy to be here and build bridge between Korea and Latvia.